Good day, everyone, and welcome to Miss Valley Entertainment News. My name is Dread. Once again, it is early in my morning. I have just barely been awake, but I really need to react to this video. How would you guys and girls like to hear from someone who's played Starfield for almost 250 hours, who's legitimately enjoyed the game and raved about how great it was, and who scored it an 8.5 out of 10? Well, you're going to, because I enjoy hearing from these people because these people are waking up. We have an awakening, people, of people who play the game long enough and their opinions start to change drastically the more they play it. And they some of these people come to the realization I've been deluding myself for the last 150 hours. I don't actually even enjoy this game anymore like I thought I did. So let's listen to Dare to Game, who has a video out here called I Was Wrong About Starfield, and I'm Very Sorry. And thank you for Dare to Game to put this out, and thank you for allowing me to react to it. And I will leave the link down below for you to check out the video for yourself. Please do give Dare to Game a follow, subscribe, like, and all that good stuff, and stop in and say Dread for Miss Valley Entertainment News sent me your way. So here we go. We're going to react to, excuse me, Dare to Games. I was wrong about Starfield, and I'm very sorry. I will say I've listened to this already. It is heartfelt, and it is intense in the switch of emotions. Very much describes how they felt. It very much described that it was an opinion, and they now realize that opinion is wrong and it's not an easy thing for them to do. And then they break down why their opinion has changed and what the game means to them now. And it is very good. So I encourage you to stick with me and check this out.
I am one of those rare people, the kind you've probably never even heard of, the kind that really don't like to admit when they're wrong.
There's
I know
lots of
that's
those
a
out there.
shocking revelation, so
Lots of
I'll
people
give
like
you a
that out
few
there.
seconds to really let that one sink in. But it's true, I'm of a rare breed that likes to be right. And so, even when I sometimes realize that I may have been wrong, I'll just pretend I didn't notice, or gloss over it, and not even acknowledge it. But I just can't do that this.
You know what we call people who realize when they're wrong or they ignore it or gloss over it? We call them Starfield fans. That's what we call them. Or occasionally we just call them Bethesda fanboys. That's kind of the new name for it. By the way, as much as I enjoy these these videos on Starfield, and again, I will say I enjoy these videos because some people on the other side who think this is the best game ever made are complete and utter nut jobs, and I like exposing that. But the other reason I enjoy doing this is because, again, people are going to look back in history and see this game and this company as a major problem in gaming at this time. A once greatly revered company, I was going to say great company, a once greatly revered company that has fallen off the proverbial unending cliff and is singing their own praise and patting themselves on the back and, no offense, jerking themselves off as they fall down the cliff. That is Bethesda. By the way, I have a new name for Bethesda. I know everybody likes Bugthesda. Deadthesda. Deadthesda, because this game company has gone to the beyond. There is no returning from this. No lightning storm and a metal skull cap is going to revive these into some kind of Frankenstein monster. Deadthesda is dead. This company is dead. Unfortunately, this company is bloody filthy rich. They may not discover they're dead for another 30 years, but you and I and most sane gamers out there realize this company is dead. Stay far the fuck away from them. Excuse me, my language. I do get a little heated.
Time. No, this time, once I realized how wrong I was, I felt the guilt bubbling up in my stomach, and I realized I needed to do something quick before it gnaws away at me from the inside and brings me crashing down. I was wrong about Starfield. Maybe it was the
And I applaud you for realizing that. I honestly do. I don't just mean that facetiously.
Was wrong about Starfield. Maybe it was the polished veneer of a finished game, a shocking new capability that Bethesda Game Studios has never before managed at release. Maybe it was the shipbuilding system, which offered many hours of pointless tinkering, which is perfect for my weird lizard brain. Maybe it was
Pointless,
just
I
the
like
fact that I have been starved of a Bethesda open world RPG since Fallout 4, which came out 8 years ago, or a good Bethesda RPG since Skyrim, which came out 12 years ago. Maybe I wanted so bad for it to be that next crack-like game that I can't put it down, and I willingly pour thousands of hours of my finite life into that.
I think this is what it is with a lot of people. They so much want it to be good that they just want to keep playing and keep imagining it's good and keep hoping it'll get better in the background, so we can finally stop ignoring the screamy voices in our head telling us that it's not good. No, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. It's good. It's a good game. It is. Right? I think that's honestly what's going on with most of the people who still say that this game is great. That has to be.
I just overlooked the flaws. But whatever the case is, I was wrong about Starfield. In my hubris, I decided to review the game and sing its praises. Was I lying? No, of course not. I always strive to be honest when reviewing games. I am never a shill. After all, shills are paid, and I mysteriously do all of this essentially for free. I was giving my honest opinions, but that's just the thing. An opinion, even when honest and from the heart, can be wrong. That shouldn't be a revelation, but I feel that it likely is to a lot of you.
So first of all, at 78,000 subscribers, you're not doing anything for free. You are collecting money from ad revenue from YouTube. Guarantee it, but that's fine. I'm not saying you're rich off this, but you are getting paid for what you do. You're not getting paid by Bethesda, I don't believe, but you are getting paid by YouTube. Yes. The fact that an opinion can be wrong is something people don't understand anymore. I hate to say my generation versus your generation or anything else, but it seems like a younger generation than me does not understand this as a whole. There's a section of this generation that has never been taught that, or his brains can't compute that. Your opinion is your opinion and can be your opinion and still 100% wrong. That's why it's an opinion. Your opinion is not fact. Sorry to disturb a lot of people with that.
Opinions can be objectively wrong, especially if they're coming from a flawed perspective. A colorblind person may have the opinion that the sky is green, but that is coming from a flawed perspective, that being that they do not see color like nearly everyone else does. So their opinion is inherently and objectively wrong. A person may think that Burger King qualifies as food, but legally it doesn't meet the bare minimum requirements to be suitable for human consumption.
I love this.
So they would be objectively wrong. And I said that the game was good. And I even gave it an absurdly high rating, one that I have withheld from far better games.
Nice water
and
mechanics.
I genuinely meant it. But now, that 8.5 out of 10 haunts me. Like the ghost of the Victorian schoolgirl that lives in my basement, it sits lurking in the corner, reminding everyone that will listen that its governess drowned it in a well. But why do I feel this way? I wasn't lying. Those were honest opinions. I do enjoy the shipbuilding system. I do think it's the most polished launch Bethesda has ever had. I do think the music is pretty good, and the choices are interesting. I do think the companions work well for what they are, and I enjoy the skill and perk system. All of those things that I highlighted as positive aspects of the game are opinions that I still hold. So why does it feel like the biggest regret of my life to score this game in the first impressions review after a measly 40 hours of gameplay? Well, because
okay, I'm going to drop into the comments section. I'm going to leave a comment here. The Victorian schoolgirl in your basement must have been added by Deadthesda. I can tell because I don't actually care about her backstory. There you go. Victorian schoolgirl in your basement must have been added by Deadthesda. I can tell because I don't actually care about her backstory. Oh, I gotta give a like, and I am gonna subscribe. I think Dare to Game has already earned my subscription. Let's keep going.
Because after playing 241.2 hours by October 16th, I would rather put my own dick in a meat grinder than launch the game again. I have
Oh! Okay. As you can see, after almost 250 hours of gameplay and and giving this thing a great rating after 40 hours, would now rather put his dick in a meat grinder than launch the game again. I am such a fan of this game. It is a great game. I never want to fucking see this game again. That's a complete 180. That is a mind shift going on. That's what happens when you realize your brain has fooled you and you get angry about it. That's what happens when you realize I should have known earlier this was not a good game and walked away from it. Why did I waste all my time? Why did I embarrass myself with that score I gave it? When my opinion now is it's not a good game, and I know that now. And now you get angry about that. That's what happens, people. That's what happens when you come in contact with Deadthesda. You get angry.
no interest in it. Absolutely zero. Not even nude mods or a Starfield port of the lusty Argonian Maid could drag me back into this game. It is a phenomenon I have never experienced. From Morrowind, to Oblivion, to Fallout 3, Skyrim, and even Fallout 4. I have never before felt this way. Even after years of those releases, I'm still constantly tempted to jump back into any of these games, to feel the things I felt, and to see the things I've seen. But Starfield has destroyed that feeling. Bethesda is no longer the sexy temptress dragging me from the deck of my ship to drown me in their irresistible atmosphere. Now,
no longer feels that way, eh? That's he's got a very a good way of speaking. A very educated way. Again, if you wonder if some of these people gone to journalism school or something, boy, things just roll off their tongue. I'm a little jealous, jealous in a good way, but yes, I just kind of insanely mutter along. That's the way I do things. Trent, have a banana, Trent. All right. It looks black. I don't know. It's coloring from my green screen. It's an odd shade of green, and it wipes out yellow and green as well. Wow, yeah, it's weird. You're welcome. Little behind the scenes look there into Trent's life.
in their irresistible atmosphere. Now they are little more than a 60-year-old from Florida trying to convince me that they were just recently mistaken for the sister of their 20-year-old granddaughter. It's not even the obviously glaring surface-level flaws that this game has,
I'm gonna eat
of which there are many that make it such a bad game. And that's the thing. I've done a complete 180. I have gone from this being one of the best games I've played since Red Dead 2, a horrifyingly stupid thing that I said in my review, and one that makes me long for the release, and one that makes me long for the sweet release from this mortal coil, to wanting to uninstall it and never risk accidentally launching it again. And don't get me wrong, these are not small flaws. The game is, despite its seemingly finished state at launch, the most half-baked attempt at a game that I've ever seen Bethesda release. When you get right down to it, the spaceflight in this game is totally pointless. And it is a game about space exploration, where arguably the best system they have is shipbuilding. The entire game...
Does it not feel to you like Bethesda just backhanded everybody, all their fans, and said, don't fucking care, we're going to give you a piece of shit you really don't want. Because you guys are all cheap, you're going to buy it and make us lots of money. Does that not feel like what Deadthesda is doing here? I mean, I think it's obviously backfiring on them, but I still think it's what they're doing, and I don't think they've learned a damn thing from it yet. I honestly don't. Where else can you come into a reaction video and see a guy eating a banana? Come on. There's classic stuff here.
is just a series of short, tedious, and often, even worse, painfully boring scenes, typically composed entirely of walking and or jumping to some copy-pasted base, all sandwiched between so many loading screens that it would make 10 years ago Bethesda blush with shame. Seriously, just off the top of my head, without even digging in to make sure I can roast it as adequately as I probably should, if you want to get on your ship and fly somewhere, you have to go through the loading screen to get onto your ship, go through the loading screen to sit down in the captain's chair, go through the loading screen to take off into orbit, go through a loading screen to jump to another system, go through the loading screen to land on a planet, go through another loading screen to stand up from your captain's chair, and then go through another loading screen just to exit your ship. That's 7 different loading screens.
But it's open world, people. Todd said it is.
More often than anything else in this game, which is travel from one planet to another. That is, of course, unless you want to bypass your ship entirely and just fast travel straight to a place you've already been before.
Come on, Todd said it was open world. It must be open world. I mean, the loading screens are put in just for your enjoyment. It doesn't actually need them. It's just for your enjoyment, right? Or maybe your computer's not good enough. Maybe you need to get a better computer because it's next generation stuff, right? Funny how next generation looks like 2009. Isn't that funny? Isn't it kind of plays and looks like 2009, but yet it's next generation? I guess 2009 graphics and, and computer systems and stuff are next generation for Deadthesda. Hey, let's try to get our game up to 2009 quality. Ooh, a challenge, Emil says. Yeah.
Then it's just one loading screen away. A fact that makes ship travel the biggest inconvenience of a space exploration game. And what's even worse, like I said, the shipbuilding and customization is actually very fun and engaging. And the ship combat isn't even terrible.
I disagree with that.
With the power prioritization and different weapon types and all that, it's actually quite fun. However, flying your ship in this game is totally pointless. It can't be used in atmosphere, so you just walk everywhere, no matter how cool your ship is. You can't physically travel from planet to planet, even within a solar system, because it just physically isn't possible in the game. You can only ever fly in the orbit of the celestial body that you are currently nearby. You can't even fly to the planet's moon. You have to fast travel, because they do not exist in the same fishbowl.
Star Wars Outlaws coming out next year or so.
Of credits and hours
you'll be able to fly,
the
take off from your
Imperial
ship.
Star Destroyer. The coolest thing you can do with it is watch it take off and land in the 3-second cutscenes that make up the beginning and end of those particular loading screens. Nothing else matters. And all of that is just compounding the fact that there is next to nothing unique in the entire game. This game is so procedurally generated that it makes the initial release of No Man's Sky look like a genuine handcrafted labor of love. Starfield should be used as the new definition of all breadth and zero depth. Several years ago, when I made a video saying how Elder Scrolls 6 will be a huge letdown if and when it eventually releases, because Bethesda is proving that they are no longer capable of even releasing games within the average lifespan of a gamer, much less releasing good games. This is exactly what I was predicting. With every new game, they prove more and more that they do not understand the one thing that they still had the ability to do by the release of Skyrim. And
I believe one of the reasons they take so long between their franchise games is because they want the next generation to come along and play the game who maybe haven't really played the old game. Therefore, they can't be like, hey, it's just as bad as the old game was. No, they'll be fooled into thinking this is acceptable, this is cool. I honestly think that's kind of the way they look at it.
And that was build atmosphere. Even by that game, which I still love, they had already lost any semblance of being a true RPG, because in all of their games, you are just a master of everything and everyone. They have never been strong with narratives or meaningful choices or clever dialogue. Their graphics have always been laughably bad and outdated compared to everything else released around them.
Absolutely.
And the facial animations have always been the butt of pretty much everyone's jokes.
They look like
but
butts.
one thing they could do was suck you into a game and make you want to pick things up and read them, or to walk into random caves just to see what was there. You wanted the bard to sing Ragnar the Red when you walked through a tavern to talk to someone about something. It didn't matter when or why. All that mattered was existing in the world. Bethesda games do not have that anymore. At least Fallout 4 still had the unique radio stations with the banger music, and you could still find skeletons holding a plunger and a newspaper, still in the exact position they were in 200 years ago when they were killed, but for some reason bodies and not vaporized in their half-standing house when a nuke fell ambiguously near them. I'm not even going to discuss Fallout 76 because we're so far past that with Starfield. Even 76 isn't their low point. Starfield has less than a dozen unique handcrafted environments. Everything else is copy-pasted raider bases, civilian settlements, or star temples. That is exactly the same as every single
how
other
lazy
one
can
that
we
you
be
have
as
ever
Deadthesda?
explored. I played this game for nearly 250 hours, and I promise it does not get better. The repetitiveness and shallowness of the randomly generated crap isn't cute, it's not charming, and it certainly isn't fun. And the New Game Plus mode does not save it. With every new universe, it only gets exponentially worse.
But Todd
Starfield
said...
doesn't even feel like a joke. Starfield feels like a threat, or a statement from the Bethesda team that is meant to communicate their utter contempt for their fans. This feels like their response to years of people, millions of people, asking for just one thing, The Elder Scrolls 6. And I know there are tons of Fallout fans who want Fallout 4 to be released, but unfortunately Fallout 4 was already released, and you just don't like it. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. Since Fallout 3...
This whole game just shows their utter contempt for their fans. I agree. I mean, I think this is a gaming studio who doesn't appreciate their fans, doesn't like their fans, doesn't care about their fans. Fans to them are just something in the past that we milked money out of. The only time they care about the fans is when they can re-release something or redo something or find another way to get money out of them. But that's it. There's just utter contempt. They just don't give a fuck about anybody out there except for themselves. It's freaking terrible.
3, you have gotten 2 Fallout games from Bethesda. It isn't my fault that they aren't as good as Fallout 3. It's Bethesda Game Studios' fault. But since Skyrim, there hasn't been an Elder Scrolls game, and Elder Scrolls Online doesn't count. In fact, I blame that cookie-cutter MMO for all of these problems. That game is, and was, the death of
ESO, at least if you satisfies your lore.
So for years, and it only ever gets more
if you want to be playing
true.
in the world,
Bethesda Game Studios are every year proving that they are the George R.R. Martin of the game developer world. The more their fans ask for the one thing that they desperately want, the less interest they have in actually doing it. You have a game studio that has a ridiculously dedicated fan base that desperately want to play their next game, and they are so arrogant in that unyielding support that they don't feel the need to ever release it.
Their response is
they
F
feel
you.
Comfortable enough that they can waste the better part of a decade developing a new franchise, this time in Starfield, that feels like Joe Biden throwing out the opening pitch in America's most boring and pointless sport. Not only can he not propel the ball with any force or accuracy to the spot which it needs to go, but nobody is interested in him doing so. So what was the point? Starfield, a game that I wasn't particularly excited for because sci-fi games fall rather low on my hierarchy of game needs, was, at least for a month or so, a sleeper success for me. I had zero expectations going in, and I let that catch me off guard, and I blundered into the mistake of letting my short-term enjoyment of the game convince me that it was, in fact, a good game. But it's not a good game. It's not a mediocre game. It's not even a bad game. Starfield is a slap in the face to longtime Bethesda fans.
There you go.
It's a game that says, do not wait for the next one. This is their answer to our endless requests for the next game that we've actually been waiting for.
It's a slap in the face. It's a, we don't care what you want. We're going to do this because you sheep will buy it. And really, all we want is your money. We don't want to go back over here to Elder Scrolls 6. We don't care about Elder Scrolls 6. We don't want to do a new Fallout. We don't care about Fallout. We care about being innovative and making something new. But, you know, let's not put any effort into it. I mean, let's put lots of time into it, but no effort. Let's do procedurally generated, you know, animations. No, loading screens will do. This will be fine. Yeah. We can slap this together right now, but let's wait about 2 more years before we actually slap it together. Let's just sit around the office and party till then. Maybe get bought out by Xbox. You know, like we'll just get some outside billions of dollars rolling in to so our extravagant party lifestyle, you know, keeps going. And in the end, we'll release this great magnus opus work called Starfield. and everyone will love it, and we'll get Game of the Year, and everybody will pass on the back. We'll be like, yay, Todd Howard and the Bethesda team, you guys are the shits, yeah. And they're like, Elder Scrolls 6, fuck you, we're not giving you that shit. We're doing Starfield. Yeah. I mean, look at the facts. Is that a wrong opinion? Maybe some of you think it is. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. This is my opinion, though. It is. It's a big slap in the face and a big middle finger to everybody. It's what it is.
The answer is no. We aren't going to release it anytime soon. We will take however much time we want, because you've already made our company billions of dollars, so we're no longer hungry or in a hurry. We will milk our existing titles until the teats are dry, raw, and cracking from the unrelented yanking that we're giving them. And then we'll release something so bland and soulless that you'll just wander back to one of our old games after paying $70 for the pleasure of another untouched game in your ever-expanding game library. You will wait decades for our next game, and when you play it, you will feel the contempt that we have for it and for you, because we've included that in every line of our code. But that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and that you'll accept my deepest and most heartfelt apologies for being such an utter fool in my first impressions review. At heart, I am an open-minded person who is always willing to extend the benefit of the doubt over and over again, and in many cases, this one included, it has resulted in a dagger thrust to my foolish, forgiving, and congenitally defective heart. Let me know your thoughts on the subject down in the comment section below, and let's hopefully move on from this experience better and wiser than we went into it. Thanks for watching.
All right, so that was Dare to Game with I Was Wrong About Starfield. I'm very sorry. As I said, drop down into the description below. Check out the link to the video. Watch it for yourselves. Give it a likes. Give it a likesy. Give it a thumbs upsy. This guy had the balls to come out and say, no, I was fully in support of this game at one point. I am now the exact opposite. I do apologize. I regret it. Right? Very interesting take. And as I said, he's gone from one extreme to the other. And there's that anger when your brain realizes how you've been tricked. What you've done, how your brain has fooled you. This is, as I said, it's not a game. It's not a good game. It's not a great game. It's not a good game. It's not even a bad game. It is a slap in the face. And you should treat it as such. Slap them back. I don't know. Or walk away and don't come back for another slap. Please, people. Let Deadthesda be dead. It is done. Everybody from Miss Valley Entertainment News, my name is Dread. Thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you all next time. Bye-bye.